What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TV Toycast YouTube channel. As today we are unboxing the Mattel WWE Elite Survivor Series Butch Doink, or Bushwhacker Butch, whatever you want to call it. But the Bushwhackers, along with Men on a Mission several years ago, back in 1993, as a matter of fact, dressed up like Doink the Clown, and Mattel celebrated that. How could I not get this? Such a fun figure. So excited to get it. Oh, so cool. Look at the Adam Pearce Build-A-Figure. Of course, we got a second Butch head, so you get your regular Bushwhackers, plus you can do the Doink head. Awesome artwork. Really cool artwork on the side there. And you can collect the whole wave, which you can get Bushwhacker Butch as Doink, easy for me to say, Bushwhacker Luke as Doink, which will be also coming up very soon. And, of course, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in the Survivor Series set. Of course, these are Build-A-Figure waves. If you're so inclined, you can build an Adam Pearce, first time in the line, General Manager Adam Pearce, which is definitely a fun Build-A-Figure piece. So, not going to do all of that. I'm just I'm not really too into the Build-A-Figures, but I definitely wanted both versions of the Bushwhackers. And to me, this is kind of a two-in-one, because I get Bushwhacker Butch, and I also get Butch Doink, as they were referred, because if anyone remembers at that Survivor Series, the Bushwhackers teamed up with Men on a Mission, and they all wore the Doink paint. It's unfortunate, because a couple of years ago, Mabel was in the Elite line. We got a few Mabel figures. We got a King Mabel, we got a regular Mabel, I believe. We also got a Viscera figure. Never got a Big Daddy V, unfortunately. But how cool would it have been to get Mabel Doink? That would have been amazing. Mo has never been under a deal with Mattel, as far as I can recall. He does have a figure from our good friend Mitch over there at Hastel Toys, so who knows? Maybe 2025 will be the year of Mo. We'll get some Mo figures. That's a lot of Mo, right? Something I'd said in the past. I don't know. It's pretty wild nowadays, because with all these third-party companies, people are starting to realize, well, you know what? Maybe there is demand for some of these guys. So let's get them some figures out there, which I think is cool. It's good for the industry. It's good for the collectors out here, like guys like me and you, if you're watching this. So I think it's definitely a cool thing we've got. So we got the Adam Pearce arms here. So if you're into building Adam Pearce, you got a couple of arms to get you started there. So not a bad thing. What do you guys think of Build-A-Figures? I know Marvel Legends was real big on Build-A-Figures there for several years, and I think you got the Adam Pearce hands there. I think the concept of like buying 7 figures so you can build one is interesting. But I could also see a lot of people being like, yeah, I'm not buying all these figures that I don't necessarily want, so I can build one that I really want, because that just is a huge waste of money. And I get all sides of it for sure. And I know there was a Spider-Man wave specifically that had a Kingpin Build-A-Figure. This is several years ago, and I was like, oh, I got to get that figure. It's too awesome. I love the Kingpin's always been a favorite villain of mine. Oh my gosh, these twist ties are the worst. So I was all in. And Doink has lost his hair. Oh my gosh. Giving me problems. But I was all in. I was like, oh, I definitely want that. And most of the figures in that specific wave I was into. Not all of them, but most of them I was into getting. So it wasn't like a huge deal for me, but I could see some people being like, you know what, this is too much. I don't want all of these. And you know what? I think they would be right in that thought. And then of course Hasbro released Kingpin later on anyway. So what are you gonna do? But there you go. There's Butch Doink. Very cool. Let's get a little close up on the face here. I'm not entirely sure I'd be able to tell that that's see his beard there. So that's kind of a nice detail. I guess you can kind of tell that that's Butch, but it's not super obvious. You can tell it's definitely not Doink. So I think they did a good job there. We got the tattoos, of course. They did a good job of tucking the pants into the boots. I do like that. Classic Bushwhacker singlet. They didn't really have entrance gear, but of course, this the Bushwhacker march. I never knew really what that was, but I always knew it was cool. Like, every fan in the arena did that, right? Like, we all remember Bushwhacker Luke from the 91 Rumble marching in. Earthquake grabs him. over the top rope and marching out. What a time. What a time. So much fun. But no, this is a cool figure, and let's pop it out and see what happens. So I've heard there's been some quality issues here, so we'll test this out, see what happens with us. And I don't want to jinx myself, but we may. And I think we're going to have some of the same issues. Because of how big the head was on the Doink head, the Bushwhacker Butch head, a little bit of a giraffe neck. So if you look at it here, definitely has some giraffe neck right there. That's pretty obvious. Now, you can probably... Whoa, knocking my whole camera over. You can probably, do some creative stuff and kind of push the chin down, and it may not be too obvious. What do you guys think? I don't think that's too bad looking right there from a distance, but I could also see, if you get close up in on it, you're like, oh, that doesn't look very good at all. And I think the issue is because this head, if I can get it right there, the mouth is open, so the chin's way down. And so I think they proportioned the body or the peg for that, not necessarily that head. It is what it is. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. But I would say most people are probably going to display this with the Doink head, unless you bought two. A lot of people may have bought two. If you're a Double Up Club member, I don't know. For me, I've never been big on that. I'm like, I'm good with one. I can swap the parts, I did that with the recent Legends Jim Neidhart that also became Who. I could have bought two, but I just opted for the one because I thought, I can swap the parts. I may regret that later, but I'm okay with it. But yeah, Butch I think looks pretty decent here. If you look from behind, yeah, that's no good. But I'm going to be displaying it like this. Like I know they did a Monday Night Wars Warrior recently that kind of had the giraffe neck, but if you look at it like this, it really isn't horrible. It's all about how you photograph it. Now you do it like that, yeah, it doesn't look great. You do it like this, I feel like that's fine. Not a bad Butch head. A little bit of a younger Butch than I would say than we normally see, but yeah, I don't think that's bad at all. But I will say I'm definitely going to be more into the Doink look, so that's probably if I can possibly stop bumping my camera. I'm still getting used to this new tripod that I've got here. So we'll get the Doink head back on there and see how that looks once more. Yeah, that's fun stuff. And I think what's good about the articulation here is you can definitely do the Bushwhacker pose, the march, the Bushwhacker march. Very, very cool stuff. We don't get a lot of Bushwhacker figures, which is unfortunate. They're Hasbro's. Still, in my opinion, two of the best Hasbro's that they've ever put out. I think those are absolutely phenomenal. And my goodness, this camera is giving me trouble. And I think we got some Jakks Classics back in the day. And then we got a couple of Mattel releases. We got a Legends 2-pack from Toys R Us, which sat on the pegs for years, it seemed like. And then we got a battle pack, a Basics battle pack, several years later that also didn't move very well. And we got these. But I think these are a lot more fun. I think the Bushwhackers, it's one of those things where it's a team we all remember. We all loved them. We all had fun with it. But no one was like, oh my gosh, I got to get all the Bushwhacker stuff. So I think the nostalgia may not be there like it would be for like a Road Warriors, a Demolition, a Heart Foundation, a Rockers, etc., etc. But for the time, they were pretty hot. I remember they were in Tag Team Series 1 of Hasbro, and they were absolutely figures I had to get because they were just too amazing. Of course, we got some trading cards here. Some snotty signs. How about that? From 5 stickers and 1 stick of bubble gum that I will not be chewing because gross. Well, let's see what we got here. Wax style, very, very old school. School really stinks. Chris is seriously stupid. Hold nose when passing. Zits popped here. Jennifer Slimeball Supreme. Who dealt it? Geek Crossing, Papa Zit today. Teacher's Pet Megan. I barf for nerds. Well, I think we all do that. Mucus on desk, Nick is a slob. Danger, human gas leak. This teacher licks ashtrays? Good Lord. Adams USA's number one geek. Wow, that might be some of the worst ones I've seen. I don't even know. I've never heard of these. I was thinking they were going to be like wacky packages. Do you guys remember those? Those were always kind of fun. Kind of a little garbage pail kid-esque, but not quite. I mean, a little similar, but not the same. I don't even know what to say about that. I was just, okay, interesting. But yeah, Bushwhacker Butch. Butch Doink. Definitely a fun figure. Fun addition to the Elite line. And this has been fun doing all Elites this week. This is probably not something I will do all the time, but here and there I may throw a whole week's worth of figures in the same genre at people to see kind of what they're into. I have noticed it's interesting to me because I was trying to follow the numbers to see what does well and what doesn't. Like a lot of my Transformer videos didn't do very well. So I thought, well, maybe this is not something I should do a lot of because they're not really being watched. But then I put up the Beast Wars video and it did like amazing numbers. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, amazing for me. I mean, it's not like thousands or anything, but better than I normally do. And I'm like, wow, okay. There's that. My IRS Legends figure did great numbers as well. So I don't know. So check both those videos out. Their numbers are doing well. This week I also unboxed Pat McAfee from the WrestleMania Elite line. And I've also unboxed the Goon from the Collector's Edition Mattel Elite line. So check both of those out. Check out some of my other unboxing videos that I've recently done here, like the G.I. Joe Classified Big Boa. How about the Mattel Retro Alundra Blaze? How about the Hastel Toy Macho Man Randy Savage? That was a lot of fun. How about Commando Spawn from the Retro Spawn line? A lot of fun as well. Check all of those out in the archives and a ton of other videos. Over 40 unboxing videos and counting. So check all of those out. Find your favorites and maybe check out ones you wouldn't normally check out. Who knows? Maybe you'll get into it. You never do know. And also check out the TB Toycast podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, we've got over 170 episodes. We have a different main event. Plus we talk news, pickups, everything else in between on the show. So check that out wherever you get your podcasts. And I appreciate all the support. Make sure to subscribe and leave comments if you can. I try to interact with everybody as I can to all the different comments and just kind of getting to talk to everybody. It's been a lot of fun. So that's all I got. This is the TB Toycast YouTube channel. That's Butch Doink. And we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.